Hey everyone, I've got Will Wang here, all the way from Sydney, Australia, who runs an agency called Growth Labs, and that's Labs with a Z, because he's a very cool dude. That's why he's got the Z on the end of Labs. But we've been working together for a little while now, and Will has had, I guess, an extraordinary month, and he's been kind enough to hop on this call to kind of let us know, what's going on and how he's doing what he's doing. Because just to give you perspective, Will closed 7 deals in January. The average client is investing about 2.5K per month. He has a client at the 6K month, and obviously he's looking for clients that are investing a lot more in his services. Especially Will specialises in Facebook advertising and PPC advertising, and the upsell that he offers to clients is email marketing and sales funnels. Will, really appreciate you being on the call, mate. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too,
Yeah.
John.
Look, one of the things I love about you, Will, is there's always something going on with you. And I know that I guess we went through a bit of training with regard to setting a plan for I guess a 90-day plan. What happened for you? Like, you did the plan, what changed? What shifted? Because getting 7 deals in 1 month is huge. And just so people know, Will, you actually work full time in a full time job, which soon will become a non-time job or a no-time job. Because if you keep hiring 7 clients, mate, you're just not going to be able to sleep.
Yeah, and I've got 2 kids as well, so I'm sleeping already.
And you got 2 kids as well. So what happened that created this burst of activity for you?
To be honest, I think I finally got it through my thick head about the focus. So jumping on the training with you and some of the podcasts that you've done, before the month that I did really well, my focus was all on negative stuff. Like, are there enough people out there to serve? I emailed them, would they actually take offense to me emailing? But in January, I said, stuff it. I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on what I really want, is to get out of a job, and to spend time at home and build a business. So then going from the 98 plan, it kind of broke it down at what level I needed to be playing at. So that just solidified everything. And then your advice of having a doctor's appointment, so that 1 hour a day where you do the most important thing, that changed everything for me.
Oh, wow, that's cool. So you do a mixture, you actually work a couple of strategies. You do a mixture of cold email outbound to go out for the market, and you also do networking as well. So you're getting a combination of clients from both. Your cold email, roughly what is the strategy with the cold email, the outbound reach?
So it's very similar to what you taught, just a 4 email series, giving value and educating people about what they can do. So, the first email would be like, hey, here's a strategy that applies in your market, or here's what some of the market leaders are doing in your area. Click through and I'd love to get your feedback.
Yep.
And then the second one's like, did you get it? The third one, it's just a normal process that you teach.
What sort of response rate do you get percentage-wise from cold email, roughly?
I'll pull it up. I think my open rate is about. My open rate is 64%.
64% open rate on cold
Yeah.
email. That's amazing.
64%.
Yep.
Yeah. So my click through, or the amount of people who are watching the video I send to them.
Yep.
That's 18%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's from cold email, Will.
Yeah, from a cold email. Someone who's never heard of me before. Yeah.
So you get an 18% conversion to watching a video that you set up. And for those who are watching, they're wondering what type of video. The video essentially is just a basic heads up on what's going on in the industry. Here's the gaps that are occurring, and here's a solution, or here's an idea on how you can get it better. Yeah?
Yeah. I actually didn't believe that people out there were doing it so badly. I mean, you've always told me, people out there definitely need help.
Yeah.
But I never kind of looked into it until I started doing these videos.
Yeah.
And people were just the most basic things, like some Google PPC principles or Facebook principles, and people were just loving it. They're responding. So
That's awesome. So that's a 40% view rate. So how quickly from the time somebody, I guess, looks at the email to setting some time with you, how quickly is it taking, or how long does it take to bring a client on board? Say from the initial point of contact to the point of saying, yeah, Will, let's work together.
So one of the clients, it's about 2 weeks to 4 weeks.
Okay, 2 to 4 weeks. Yep.
2 to 4 weeks, yeah. I had one of the clients that I pitched a couple of weeks ago. and it was a business owned by two people. So one of them really liked it, really excited to get started,
Yeah.
and obviously just trying to bring the other one on board.
Yep. Yep.
Which means I've got to talk to them again in 2 weeks, so about 4 weeks for that one,
Yeah.
and the other one's about 2 weeks.
Yeah. So on average, it's a couple of weeks to bring on a client, essentially. Okay. Now, you brought 7 clients on board, mate. How do you handle 7 clients and work a full-time job and handle a family with 2 little babies? How does that work?
Using a lot of white label providers.
So you outsource a lot?
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't do any of the work myself. So I try and outsource everything.
Yep.
Because these guys are specialised in what they're doing as well. So it's good to kind of have their input on how we can do it better, and just makes life easier for me.
Yep. Yep. When you you're targeting specific niches that you want to be working with? Yeah.
Yeah. I've got massive shiny object syndrome.
Yep.
So I'm probably in more niches than I should be in. But I've got a full-time VA now, so it helps a lot to get into different niches. I've got about 3 or 4 that I'm playing in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the other thing also is that essentially you're starting people off, or you're making an offer with like Facebook or with PPC, but then you're upselling people into email marketing funnels. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. So what my process is, or my thinking around the process is that if I can get these guys leads, but they're not maximizing the leads, it becomes a really easy conversation to go back and go, hey, look, you've got all these leads, but you're not making the maximum amount of money out of them. How about we put a little bit more into it, and you'll get exponentially better results.
Yep.
So that's the upsell.
That's the upsell. Okay. So, and the other thing also, because you also took on the idea, the concept that we talk about in terms of developing strategic alliances, and you recently met. How did you meet this person, by the way?
It was actually kind of funny. I met him at my local business chamber event, which wasn't even going to go to because I thought, the guys around my area are too small. There's no point talking to them.
Yep.
So I met him through there, and he became a client really quickly because he's in the magazine area.
Yep.
He doesn't understand digital,
Yep.
so it made sense for me to kind of help him out.
Yep.
Once I did, his customers started asking him about that.
Yep.
And so it's just kind of taken off. I've just come back from, as we were discussing, I've just come back from a lunch with 20 of his best customers.
Yep.
So these are guys regularly spending, $10,000 to $15,000 a month on magazine advertising.
Yep.
And I had 20 of them in a room, and me being the only digital guy.
Yep.
And he introduced me as a partner, and talked about some of the things that we can do.
Yep.
And from that, I'm going to be landing multiple six-figure deals over the next year.
So you're partnering up with a magazine where customers are spending $10,000 to $15,000 a month in ad spend on their magazine ad spend, and they're looking for the opportunity to do digital marketing to generate revenue or generate sales and opportunities. And so you already see that because they're already spending that kind of money, they could easily be spending the same sort of money on digital as well. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And because my business partner now has got ongoing relationship with his customers, he understands it. They've already approached him previously and asked him, do you do social media? Because we need help with that. So he knows that there's a need for the service in the market. But he just hasn't been able to, no one's approached him and asked him, do you want to offer this to your customers?
So for those who are listening, if you know anybody that owns a magazine that's running ad campaigns that needs a strategic alliance, I mean, I often talk about this strategy is looking for centers of influence that have access to a database or a client base that they service. How can you add value to them to help their clients get benefit out of that? And you've taken this idea perfectly. I mean, I know we've spoken about building strategic alliances and using strategic alliances to partner up and to actually share value so that you can open yourself up to bigger clients. And the beauty of this is I mean, I know this is a local area, but some of these businesses in this group, they're pretty big, like they're banks and credit unions and And these guys have already asked you to come in and pitch and sit down and have a chat to them, yeah?
Yeah, so just from the lunch today, I've got 5 appointments booked in over the next couple of weeks.
You booked in 5 appointments from the lunch today?
Yeah, just from the lunch. Just people coming up to me going, look, I really like what you do. I like what you say. We need this in our business. Can you please come and see us over the next week or 2? Here's my card. Yeah.
And when are you handing in your resignation?
Well, it's kind of funny because I was stressing about this in January. I booked a holiday in March and I don't have any leave for it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the perfect timing.
I mean, just so people understand what you're doing here, and just to break it down, you're actually doing 3 strategies. You're doing cold outreach, cold email to the market, sending them to a landing page to watch a video, setting an appointment from those who take an interest, and you're actually following people up, aren't you? Like you're actually getting on the phone. Yep. Now, you're obviously finding that getting on the phone is helping you get the conversions, yeah?
Yeah, massively.
Yeah. So the fact that you're just following up the email, how easy is it to have the conversation once I watch the email? Has it been pretty easy to talk to them?
I actually like the strategy that you use because some of them watch it but they don't remember.
Yep.
So I'll call them and I'll say, hey, it's Will from Growth Labs. Just calling about, the email from last week. I'm just trying to get feedback. And if they come back to me and say, well, I don't know who you are or, where you're coming from, I just say, look, I'm just going to take a minute to explain what I'm reaching out about. And if it's not cool with you, that's fine. I can jump off the phone in just a minute. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's been working well.
Yeah. So then it starts a conversation. They relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. I often find saying that to people. Look, if you've got 60 seconds, let me explain what this call's about. If this isn't okay with you, if you're not interested at the end of the 60 seconds, you can say no, thank you, and we can call it quits. Is that fair? And most people go, yeah. And as soon as you do that, they relax, and then you can just talk to people, which is really, really cool. So you're following people up with the phone. So you're mixing three. You've got your cold outreach, but you're also networking a lot. I mean, an area that you're comfortable with. What are some of the types of events that you've been going to and meeting, creating opportunities from?
So I've been doing a lot of the local Chamber of Commerce events. There's a big one in New South Wales in general. So it's a state-based one rather than a local area one.
Yep.
That's been really good as well.
Yep.
I like Chamber of Commerce events because everyone's kind of more relaxed there. I've done a couple of BNIs. That's a bit of a different game. So I'm not doing too much of those, but but I think networking itself. I'm networking within my own clients' networks.
Yep.
So once someone comes on board and we get results, I'll ask them, is there anyone else do you know that I could be potentially helping? I'm not trying to sell them. I'm just trying to give them the same benefit.
Yep. So and that's again, you've hit on another strategy. So here's strategy number 4 is you're actually opening up to referrals. By doing that and saying, do you know anybody who's in my network? You're opening yourself up to a referral opportunity. So there's a 4th strategy, and then. And then you've got the fact that you've developed a strategic alliance. So all of these things grouped together have, in 4 weeks, you sat there, got away from negativity, thinking, who's going to buy this? Is the market saturated? All that sort of stuff. You went, okay, I'm going to get focused 1 hour a day on income generating activity, which is generating clients. So you book the doctor's appointment strategy. And then you're literally exposing yourself to multiple opportunities by using 4 different channels.
Yeah. It's funny because it took me about 4 or 5 months to get up to the point of actually taking solid action.
So it took you 4 to 5 months. I just want to get this on tape, right? So that we know. And you're going to see this video, Will. So for 4 months, you were bright and shiny objects.
Yeah.
Right? Then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm going to do this. Right, so you decided to focus, and then you started to implement a methodology, like a simple methodology that we talk about. We actually introduced a few different methodologies, and then by the sheer nature of you getting focused, 7 deals. Have you ever done 7 deals in a month ever?
No, not even close. Not even close.
7 deals, Will. There's only 4 weeks in a month, man. 7 deals, right?
Yeah.
That's unreal.
My calendar looked really good for a couple of weeks in January.
So because you've got 7 clients, you obviously needed help. So you've actually hired a full-time VA, who's based in the Philippines. So you've outsourced to the Philippines. This person that you've chosen has already got skills, understands internet marketing. So you've actually vetted them. Naturally, they're going to help you. Again, you're outsourcing to be able to handle the work that you've actually created. So you've really taken on that middle person model in what you're doing. Where do you see? I mean, for realistically for you, where do you see the business over this 12 months? What's the goal?
The goal for me is to hit 7 figures, or be in a position to hit 7 figures by December.
Okay, that's 12 months to hit 7 figures.
Yeah.
And you see that, you actually see the reality of that, or the true possibility of that, or is that just pie in the sky stuff?
Look, it's going to be a stretch.
Yep.
But having the VA on board, having all the processes I've got, and knowing what I know now,
Yeah.
as opposed to a month ago, it's absolutely possible.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So if you were talking to other consultants about the differences that they can make, what if you said these are the most important things that you need to do? What would you say were the most important things that they need to do in their consulting business?
I think the doctor's appointment is probably the most important thing. Doing the 1 hour of solid work, the work that you need to be doing to get out there and from the market. So when I was struggling, I did a lot of content. I did a lot of all this other technical stuff that I didn't need to do.
Yeah.
But as soon as I put myself in front of the market with information or value to them, everything just started happening.
So number one, get focused, make the time to actually be proactive with your clients. What are the things you think people need to be taking into consideration?
It's easy to kind of mix up real work with busy work.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges, doing real work and getting in front of clients.
Yeah.
And I think for me as well, during the process, it was understanding that people actually don't do what we do really well.
Yeah.
To us, it all sounds super basic and who would actually pay for this.
Yeah.
But talking to the people I've talked to, not a lot of people know what we do.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Yeah. A lot of people don't know.
Confidence.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, what we do in the market because we're not like you and I. We're on the internet all the time. We're checking out landing pages. We're subscribing to lists. We're checking out videos. We're doing all the things that we should be doing, not doing, in growing our businesses. But we're so familiar with it. Like we are so familiar with it that we forget that the people out there who are trying to run their businesses day to day, they don't have time to look at any of this stuff. They don't have time to learn. They don't know what a squeeze page or a landing page is. They don't even know what a sales funnel or a strategy or, even the word lead generation doesn't mean anything to them. So that's, the point that you're making is really valid is we know a lot of stuff. We do a lot of stuff. We know a lot of stuff. But in general, the market, they haven't got a clue. And the fact for you to resonate with that idea just opens up a huge opportunity, because if the people that you're engaging right now and you're bringing those clients on board right now, knowing what you know and knowing that they need the help that you're actually delivering and the support that you're delivering, to realize that even on a bigger scale, bigger companies have no idea. They're doing branding stuff. There's no call to action. There's no measurement. They don't actually look at the analytics or the data. And so this is, in terms of what we do or in terms of what you're delivering to the market, that's where the greatest value is, Will. That stuff is absolute gold for a lot of people. And the skills that you have and the knowledge that you have, that's like, a doctorate in marketing, essentially in physical direct response marketing, because I know a lot of people in our game who are consultants who play around with the internet and they've tried things and they know things, but let me tell you that once you actually start sharing like you have, how do people react to the stuff that you do? What sort of reactions do you get?
It's actually really funny, and I want to tell a story about this. So separate to all of that kind of stuff that I've done last month, I sat down with a business owner this morning to go through just go for a bit of a pitch.
Yeah.
So he's actually engaged one of the bigger agencies or advertising agencies within my area.
Yeah.
And I sat down with him and explained to him, how he can actually get money back from his marketing.
Yeah.
And as a result, when his contract finishes with the agency, he's going to drop them and jump on board with me. So it's even the bigger guys in the market, a lot of the time they don't even know what's going on and what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just doing a branding exercise.
Yeah, most agencies don't. Most agencies can't do the digital stuff. They don't know the digital stuff. The people they employ don't know it, so they're very fresh to this sort of stuff. I talk about one of the guys that I work with, Jasper Brown, out of Chicago. His first 3 clients were actual advertising agencies, and his what he did for them was sell PPC leads. So he did PPC for ad agencies to sell the ad agency, which is like really weird. But you're right. Most ad agencies don't do the stuff that we do. They don't understand, and they are focusing on the more global branding, communication type strategy. But when you ask the client, do you want a return on investment of your marketing? The client goes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you showed him, when you did the pitch to him, he's like, "What am I doing with this ad agency? This isn't what we're talking about." Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, I took him through the entire back end, showed him his own numbers. I put up his Facebook page and I said, why don't you log in and I'll take you through your numbers.
Yeah.
And no one from the ad agency had taken him through that. So he was super impressed. And yeah.
So simple thing of showing people, and that's the other thing. If you can get a hold of people's analytics, most people don't know what those numbers mean. Most people don't realise how important those numbers are. When you have a chance to explain analytics, like you went and say, let's log into Facebook and check out what's going on, all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, this just gives them a whole new way of looking at their business. And that's the power of, that's one of the biggest, I guess, benefits of what we do, Will, is the fact that we can measure everything. It's never before in any type of marketing platform have we actually been able to physically and directly measure behaviour. And that's what makes what we do powerful. Will, mate, I always love talking to you because you're a ball of energy every time I speak to you. But I'm so happy that you've had an awesome January. I can't even imagine what February is going to be like. I know March is going to be the time where you're going to leave your job and get into this full time. But I really do appreciate the fact taking the time out today to say hi and share some of the ideas and strategies. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you hit those 7 figures by the end of the year, mate.
Cool. Thanks, John.
Thanks, mate. Take care.